Hello, class. So today is March 30th. You have several tasks for today. I'm going to break them down now. They are typed on Google Classroom as well, but just so you can hear it from my voice, your main task is to read the prologue and scene 1 of Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet. The entire prologue is actually right here, and then you'll also read scene 1. After you're done with the prologue, we're going to do most of this together. You're going to be completing page 9. And then last but not least, you are going to look on Google Classroom for, I believe it's 4 literary terms that go along with today, and you're going to make those flashcards as well. Total this week, you're going to make 13 flashcards. You can kind of just do those throughout the week. Most of what we're going to focus on every day is the reading. So quickly here, the prologue for Romeo and Juliet is basically an introduction to everything that's going to happen in the story. And I'm sorry, but he does spoil the whole play just in the prologue. But he wants you to go into the play aware of everything that's going to happen so you can notice the themes and hear his message a little bit more clearly. So the entire story, in a nutshell, in 14 lines, is right here. We're going to be talking about 2 households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. Dignity basically means like powerful, or that they're of high standing. So we're talking about 2 rich families in the city of Verona, and from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. So what we find out here is that these 2 households have a grudge against each other. They don't like each other, they have issues, and now here in this play, we're going to have a new mutiny. So in other words, there's going to be a fight or an argument that breaks out in this play. Even though the fight's been going on for a long time, there's something new for them to fight about here. And here's what that is. You'll notice that this prologue is broken up into kind of 3 sections, and the middle section tells us what this fight is about. It says, "From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventure piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife." So what we find out here is there's these 2 star-crossed lovers, and I'm just going to let you know that that's Romeo and Juliet, basically fall in love with each other and have a misadventure. Now, hopefully you're familiar with the term adventure, but this misadventure is just an adventure that goes wrong. Now, you can probably imagine, if you're familiar at all with the story, how it all goes wrong. Basically, their parents are not fans of the fact that they are in love, and they're doing everything they can to keep them from one another. And somehow, some way, we'll find this out throughout the story, they die. Now, Shakespeare does tell us that there's a small positive here. It's through their death that they bury their parents' strife. Now, all this really means is that the fighting ends. Right, so we started off recognizing there's these 2 households. They're in a fight. What are they fighting about? The fact that their kids, one from each household, are in love with each other. And since they don't like each other, they don't want Romeo from one household and Juliet from the other household falling in love with each other. Ultimately, they die, and their death is what brings an end to all the fighting. So Shakespeare says this: "The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend." So he basically says this: for the next 2 hours, this play here on this stage is going to explain to us how it is that this death could have been avoided. Okay? So the reason he's spoiling it for you now, the reason he's telling you about their death, is simply because he wants you to be aware how they died, what problems caused it, mostly so that you can avoid making the same mistakes. Now, we'll talk about exactly who it is that makes all the mistakes, who is to blame for the deaths of Romeo and Juliet. That's going to be our big question throughout this entire play. Who is to blame for the fact that Romeo and Juliet die? You're actually going to end up writing a paper about that. It's something that's going to come up pretty much every act and every scene throughout the whole play. There's lots of different options. Many characters kind of seem to have a role in causing the death of Romeo and Juliet. And Shakespeare, again, wants to help us avoid making those same mistakes. All right. So that breaks down kind of the prologue. If you have questions, let me know. In addition to kind of these annotations, please follow these instructions here, answer these 5 questions, as well as the 3 questions down below, 8 total. That's your work today, is to complete page 9. And then also you're going to read Act 1, Scene 1. And please look at the slideshow for the four new poetry terms for today and create those flashcards. As always, if you have questions, let me know during office hours, and have a great day.